when God sent Elijah to King Ahab to tell him a drought was coming and it was going to last some years. God told Ahab to go by the brook Cherith, a body of water before the Jordan. Well, this makes me believe that this was a hidden body of water because God told Elijah to go hide there. And this was so that Elijah would have water. He also told Elijah the birds would sustain Elijah with food. They would bring him bread and they would bring him flesh twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. God is a sustainer. God will keep you. God will send you to hidden places to protect you and sustain you at the time that you will need it. At the time when things might be going on all around you in the world, in the earth. That's why I say it doesn't matter who's president, who's the leader, because whatever is going on in the world, whatever evil, wickedness, God will send his people to the brook before the Jordan in a hidden place where he will provide and where he will sustain. So he sustained Elijah, the man of God, the prophet, during this time when there was a drought in the land. And you know, if there's a drought in the land for water, there's also famine in the world. The animals need water, plants and vegetables. Every living thing needs water. And it just amazes me that no one else was there at that same brook in this drought with Elijah. This brook was made just for that purpose. God already sees what's coming and he's already provided exactly what you're going to need to survive. Even when you don't know it and it seems hopeless, it's already done. It was done from the beginning of time. God is not a God that's in our realm of time, our realm of space. This is us. You know, this is what we see and this is what we can think and this is what we can believe. But there's no limitations to God. But after some time, and I don't know how much time, I don't know how many years it was, but this river eventually dried out. So God told Elijah to go to another place, and there will be a widow woman there to sustain him. Elijah goes to this place, and he sees the widow woman, and he calls her, and he tells her, bring me water, and bring me something to eat. And the widow woman, she tells him that all she has is a small amount of meal and a small amount of oil. And she was going to make her and her son their last little meal, and then they were going to die because they didn't have anything else. God had told Elijah that I have already commanded this widow woman to sustain you. So Elijah is seeing this widow woman and he's hearing what she's saying. But he's still believing God because God has already said that I have commanded this widow woman to sustain you. Even though he's looking and he's hearing, and this widow woman, she has nothing. She only has enough to eat for that night, and then her and her son die. But Elijah said, do as I've told you. And before you fix your cake or your food or your plate, you and your sons, make my plate and bring that to me so that I can eat. And if you do that, hallelujah. And if you do that, your meal will not run dry and your oil will not run dry. You will be sustained from here on out. Now that widow woman could have been like, I don't have nothing, and she didn't see a way. And this man is asking her to give to him. So how is he saying, if God will do this for me, if I bring you this cake, why won't he do it for you? She could have had all kind of doubts. So even though she had been commanded, because remember God said, I've commanded this widow woman to sustain you. Although she's been commanded, she does not even know that she's been commanded. But she did it anyway. She was obedient. Elijah could have been looking at this woman's situation. A lot of times we look at this situation. We don't know how God is going to send our help. We don't know how God is going to sustain us because we're looking what we see in this small area and what we know. We're looking at that. There's no one around to help me. There's no one around to give to me. There's no one around to sustain me. I have nobody. It's just me. I'm the helper. I'm the provider. I'm the go-to person. But God has already commanded someone to sustain you. You just have to believe what he tells you. And you have to, I'll say this a million times, you have to know his voice. When he speaks to you, you have to do it, no matter how it looks, no matter how it seems, because your provision is in that. It's faith. And it's impossible to please God without faith. So he works your faith. That grows your intimacy with the Lord. You get to know him. You get to believe in him. He comes in and he sups with you. And he does that so that you will know for yourself, even though you have the Bible, even though you have preachers, when he does something like that, like he did for Elijah and like he did for the widow woman, you know without a shadow of a doubt that God is real and that God answers and God sustains and that God is all powerful, all knowing. God bless.